Chris here with MuseGrid again. Let's create some more buttons. So we're going to take a look at this icon set. Let's drag those onto the page. Now, if you've watched any of the other videos so far, you'll see how we use a technique of using a state button, and then we have a text frame, and then we have another text frame with an icon font. But with these ones, we're using a slightly different technique. So let's see how that's put together. So as we said, I'm going to actually change the background here to a grey so that we can just, when I pull the parts out, we can see them a little bit easier. So we're using a state button on this particular button. So we're using that as the container, and we're changing the color on the hover state. We're using a text frame inside. So let's just select that and move that out. So we're using a text frame inside, and we've got our spacing as per usual. But what we're also doing is in our text, in our margin left settings, we're just setting the margin to 40 pixels left. And what that does is it moves the text over, keeps the text left aligned, but it allows the text to be moved over so that we can then put our icon on top, and we know that whenever we change the text, we're never going to have the text running over into our icon. What we're doing with the icon here, if we take this frame out, we're using the text frame again with the, we're using a 19 pixel size, 22 pixel size on this, and then our spacing, you'll notice our spacing, we've set the padding top to 12, and we've set the padding bottom to 2, and then we've got our left and right at 13, so that creates this nice spacing around it. But we've put a background fill and changed its opacity to 20% opacity. The reason why we've done this is then that makes these buttons very easy to manage and change, but we still get this two-tone effect. But we're getting that two-tone effect because obviously the 20% opacity black background is making the background color darker. And that means that these buttons are really easy to use. So we can just select that there. Let's say we went to yellow. We can see we've got this nice two-tone color. Very easy to update and change. And then if we went into, let's select this button, go into our rollover state here, let's change a darker orange, and we can see that we have the two-tone colors there. So that's how we've achieved that effect. Again, just in Muse, no Photoshop. Now with these buttons down below, we've used the same technique, but what we've also done, if you take a look on this the state button, what we've done with the text frame on the state button here is we've put a stroke on the, not on the text frame here, we've actually put a stroke on the text frame. So we've got the button, the state button is providing the background color, and the text frame has got the stroke on the bottom here. We can see that we've got a 4 pixel stroke. Now the other thing that we've done is we've set the stroke to be inside the actual text frame. So we can see that we have 3 options here. This would put the stroke on the half inside the frame, half outside the frame. This would put it completely on the outside, and this puts it on the inside. Now I found that this particular technique works on a maximum of 4 pixels. I don't know why that's a little thing with Muse, but that's why we're using 4 pixels there. Okay. Now by having that stroke on the bottom of the text frame, and you can see that it's just a slightly different, slightly darker grey to the background color, just so that it creates that kind of 3D depth effect. And then we put the icon over the top of the text frame with that 20% opacity black, and now that darkens the stroke below it as well. So then we get this, again, this two-tone 3-dimensional effect, and you can see it even clearer here. So if we preview these, you can see that especially on the, when we add a bit of curvature as well, when we add some radius on the corners, we get this really nice three-dimensional depth kind of feel to it, and that's just done with this is the 20% opacity icon fill on the background here. And remember, we've changed the opacity on the fill, not on, let me show you the difference. We haven't set the opacity here because that would make the white button, the icon, change its opacity. We've set it in the fill. So going back to our preview here, so now we have that really nice two-tone effect. Really simple, very effective, really nice crisp clean buttons, and again just done in Muse. So that's how we created those three-dimensional effects and the two-tone effects. Let's move on to our next button set.